All right, guys. Sorry about that. Little late. 6:32, March 6th. It is Wednesday. A lot going on today. We got ADP. We got Powell speaking at 10 o'clock. We have the beige book. We got a bunch of things going on besides the S&P futures up 20 handles. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to the 630 Club. Got to take a quick look at the disclosure. So this way, if compliance feels good, that we talk about everything the right way, which is what we do. How's it going? Let me also say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Who do we got? We got British Block in the house. We got Moonshine Dances in the house. We got Brian Griffin. What up, Red Diggity Dog? I love it. Dan, you're always here. Love the stability. Love the consistency. What up, Andrew? Lorenzo. Got It's. Wouldn't be a day if we didn't have It's. We got B-Wall from Austin. We got Josh from Colombia. People from around the world. That's awesome. Like-minded individuals that work hard, routine, focused. They'll try and make a living and also maybe invest over the long term for wealth and maybe sending the kids to college. Anyway, hope everyone's feeling well. I will say, the last few days it felt as if the market got a little bifurcated, right? All the pros love to use the word bifurcated. What does that mean? It means that not only do you have divergences amongst sectors, you have divergences within sectors. So what does that mean? That means you have to be very specific and very accurate to make money. So that's why I was saying yesterday, you got to be a little low gross, low net. Don't do as much because it's harder to be right. A lot of people yesterday were calling for the end of the stock market, and here we are. Futures are up 18, 19 points, and we'll figure out what type of bounce we have. So anyway, cybersecurity, CrowdStrike is up and back at highs. So that kind of juiced the market the same way Nvidia did right when it looked like it was ready to break. If you look here at the chart of the SPYs, not the end of the world. This is the kind of thing we've seen a bunch of times, right? So we hit 514 last week, had a little topping tail that gave you some clues, at least to take some risk off into yesterday, which would have helped. I had some SPY premium sold. I had some Qs puts on. I cleaned a few things up. And then PS, what do? We came back to last week's support and came off it a little bit. Kind of same thing that happened here. Remember, 503.50, down to the prior support, held that. This was the Nvidia gap, held it, then all of a sudden, that wasn't the Nvidia gap. That was some other gap, but whatever. So here we are. Right now the SPYs are up $1.80. Okay, so are the bears gonna have any power? Do the bears have any power? Everyone's growling out there. Everyone always wants to be the smartest guy in the room and say every reason why the market shouldn't go up. And meanwhile, looking at the price action is what makes you money. Right now, we're about 509. So we're kind of above the halfway mark, which is where it would have been nice to reject price, into the 509, which is kind of right here, right below the 510.50 gap pivot. So if the bears have any power, okay, they want to reject price at some point over here. If you look at the Qs also, have held where they've had to each step the way up. Every time it looks like we're about to break down, okay, it gets saved. So what now? So if you are short overnight, which I don't think many people are short overnight, who would be that short after a move from 446 down to 433? Okay, what's the gap pivot here? This gap pivot is 440.95. So this is 440.95. That's the gap pivot. So we'll see what type of power at all, which the bears haven't had much power, except in some individual stocks, to reject price. So this is 441. This low here is what? This is 439-ish. So we'll see, what happens here. Okay, so if you're pretty flat, if you come in pretty flat, you're like, hey, I would have loved it down open to buy, get over it. It didn't happen. But, an up open like this, you also can't just, look to fade it, because anyone who's looked to fade a move after what looked to be like a little bit of a change in sequence, all of a sudden we've grinded back to highs. So anyway, 439 is the spot, and then 441. Okay, so we'll see, what happens here. As far as the other sectors, some of, Morgan and Goldman are kind of hanging out. IWM got a little wishy-washy, but still fine. It's just getting a little bit tougher. Okay, a lot of things are getting a little tougher. When things get tougher, you have to pull back. But what's not getting tougher, to me, where I'm making a lot of my money is still in Nvidia and the AI stocks. Okay, I like stocks that show momentum. I like stocks that show power. I like when a stock goes green, it goes up $4 or $5. You know, I like a stock that's above the 8-day. And I'll tell you, Nvidia is still all those things. You know, here I know this chart looks like it's getting extended. You know, but every time it does, it actually rebuilds and goes again. If like you look here, you know, we gapped above the 746. That was really important the day after earnings, and I made really good money with the alpha team buying it. Hit a high of 823, so it gave you your follow through. Consolidated, and then closed on the highs on Friday, and that was when SMCI got added to the S&P. Took it home long, took home options, got a big push up, so you could have sold some strength, got stretched, and then what did it do? Came in. You know, it played with 837 yesterday, which was the prior low, held it, gave you a red dog reversal, closed well. So if you had to take something home long, why not Nvidia? I know it's scary, not really. You know, it's acting the best, and now you have Nvidia, you know, up 11. So with that said, I've already trimmed a little bit and already, you know, have a nice good head start to the morning. You know, I took a lot of positions down. I've been holding 10 to 15 positions. Probably, you know, different types of positions for the last, you know, last 6 weeks. You know, we had a great play in the bios, the XBI from, you know, 91 to 103, the IWM went up to, you know, whatever it went up to, what is it, 207, you know, played Amazon pretty well. We played Meta pretty well. Stayed away from Apple, stayed away from Tesla, stayed away from Google. Even Morgan was a good trade. Gold, really good trade. So there's been a lot of good trades all over the place. And now I feel like I'm not as excited, and I don't want to get caught with a leg sweep. So I'd rather have low gross, low net. So my only real long overnight is Nvidia. You didn't need to be in that much more. I'm in options. I'm in that. I have some options trading around, some leftover options. So you don't need to spread out right now. Is SMCI still in play? Yeah, look at SMCI. It's part of the group. Look at that. SMCI also. If you would have known where the low was here, this was 1020. So yesterday I said, how are we going to handle, you know, this 1020 to 1020? It went below, shook people out, and then reclaimed that level. So it's the power of reclaiming levels. If it would have went below and stayed below and did this, chances are it would have been over. What did it do? It went below, got people out, got people short, reclaimed it. So if you were playing, knowing where the battleground is, you got to know where the battleground is to win the battle, or maybe even the war. But the war goes on for a long time. We're just winning battles every day. So anyway, 1097, 1155. If you want to look at SMCI, it also, you know, 1108 up $17. But that's a crazy stock to take. You know, I feel much more comfortable in Nvidia. And even yesterday, we talked about, you know, a clue. AMD was the source of some of the volatility, and even AMD held where it had to. Look at AMD. AMD gave you an extended topping tail. This was the day that we made a lot of money, and then it gave you a follow through, and then 3 days up gave you a way to sell it. And then yesterday, you know, gap down, didn't even get to here, which you would have thought it could have at least got to 195, and it didn't. It went to what, 199 and came up. So, you know, above the 8-day. So for those people saying AMD is over, you know, the Washington said their chips are too powerful. Well, the stock didn't yesterday, so it showed you there was still appetite for risk. So, you know, actually some guys from the Alpha team bought Google yesterday. I didn't. Why did they buy Google yesterday? Finally, a little red dog reversal down here also. If you look down here, what did Google do? It went below the 200-day and then came back up. I tried it earlier in the morning, you know, and then I just was like, it's not worth my time. Why play Google that's, you're fighting to make 90 cents when Nvidia at the end of the day went from down 4 to up 7 in 3 minutes. So anyway, if you are trading Google, I bet you Google's up, what, 50 cents or something this morning, maybe $1. Let's see, Google's up 90 cents, you know, 133.55. So I would say if you're playing Google, okay, it's just a tactical play. Maybe you could play it up towards 136. This would be where all the moving averages are curling down. So you can play tactical bounces. I play all types of trades also. You know, and here was your red dog reversal. I really haven't played Google since earnings. Pre-earnings look a little bit different than afterwards. You can't try and change the past because you think it wasn't fair. There was slavery in the past, and there were a lot of things that went on, which was normal then. That's not normal now. It's history. We learn from history, so don't do that shit again. We learned from the Holocaust. We try to. So things like October, it does, what happened there in Israel with now Gaza, whatever. I can't get into that stuff. But anyway, a little bit of a trade. You could probably get some kind of move there. Apple, I didn't touch. Apple to me was in no man's land. Apple, I was waiting to see if it can get towards 165, 167. Remember this little head and shoulders pattern in Apple? Well, that was good. A lot of guys made decent money when it went below 180. I kind of just laid off it. It's probably going to bounce. What could this do? Hey, maybe this could bounce and fill this gap. A lot of people like my little video yesterday. The little video, I had a meeting yesterday at the Standard, and he was showing me his Samsung phone. I wasn't saying to switch to Samsung. I was just saying this is a pretty cool phone. You could open it up. You could, look at your Instagram, look at your stuff. You could watch a movie in bed. How many people watch a movie in bed with the iPhone? I know I do. It'd be nicer if it's bigger. You could look at charts and stuff, and then you could close it, and then it's the same size as this. And this is pretty thick too. It wasn't much thicker. So if Apple wanted to make a thinner version that you could turn into a mini tablet and then back into a phone, put in your pocket, that upgrade cycle would be sick. Just saying. DWAC, let's see what's DWAC doing with Nikki Haley. I think everyone knew that was going to happen. See, sometimes when it's so telegraphed, you don't get the move you want. And this is DWAC, which already had a move. Everyone knew Nikki Haley was going to drop out. And P.S., I think she would have done a great job, but I'm not going to say it. But people are scared to say it because you might get beat up by all the people that like Trump, because he's already made it normal that you could beat up on people, call them names, which is what we tell our kids not to do, but everyone says it's fine for the president potential to do. World's a crazy place. But anyway, so Apple, where could that bounce go to 173, 79? So you need to measure where bounces can go. So where's Apple right now? It's up 90 cents. It's at 171. You think you missed Apple, you missed nothing. It's up 90 cents. It was down $5 yesterday. We talked about Bitcoin yesterday. You guys are saying how crazy it was. It wasn't really that crazy. We talked about how 69,000 was the past all-time high. So it was either going to stop a little bit below it, go a little bit through, and because it came from 40,000 a month ago, chances are it's not going to have enough to get through it. Went to 69.70, it dropped to 59. It just stopped everybody out. The dealers stole the Bitcoin again, and then it cleaned it out, and now it's going to need some time a little bit more. So if you want to look at Bitcoin real quickly, it's crazy. Bitcoin is an adult swim, or you could just be a 20-year-old and buy it every month and be retired, or a 15-year-old. But if you trade it and you're risk averse and you have some kind of conscience, it's not the easiest. But anyway, so here was it. It hit 69, came below, came all the way back, stopped out anybody who had a stop in here, which would have made sense, right? If here's your bull flag, it went through, came back above, and now chances are next time it tries to get above, this spot, it's gonna go. Anyway, at this point, give it a little time. It'd be nice if it could just hang in here a little bit. I actually tried buying options on the bid, and it just it's loose and wide. It's like a $2 bid and ask in these BITO options. But I would think a little sideways action now, and next time it goes. If you look here, why I was talking about that level is because here, that was your 69 on the weekly chart. There's your 69,000. So it wasn't like it consolidated and went through it. It literally came. Last time we bought it was 44,000. From 44,000 to 69,000. It's hard to get through something so fast right there. So now probably needs to hang in here a little bit, and then chances are it's on its way, to who knows where. But I'm not going to say that. Ethereum's doing fine as well. Gold also looks really good. Gold, I actually made really good money in Nugget. I haven't bought Nugget in like 4 years, and I bought options last week. That worked. GLD, I had it on. I sold my GLD ETF, but I'm still in a call spread. I was buying the calls in here. I created a spread. And people are like, well, Red Dog, isn't the measured move from 150 to 190, 230? I'm like, yeah, over time, gold takes time. It's not crypto. Same thing with this pattern here, this cup and handle pattern. You could say, you know, 167 to 194, just even 170 to 190, that's 30, that's 220. You would think in time you could stay with this trade. Gold is a little crazy at times because of the dollar and this and that, but in time, silver, I bought a little bit of silver. But again, here, look, this is the monthly chart of gold. Look how nice and accumulated and clean that is. You go to the monthly chart of silver, it's not, you know, it's getting tight. You could accumulate silver. Maybe it might take 2-3 months. Look where silver was. I remember that crazy squeeze. Any of you guys, were any of you trading when that happened? I remember that. That was when the brothers cornered the silver market and caused the hugest squeeze ever. I was actually quoting, you can see Scott Redler silver. You know, I was trading silver at the time. It was nuts with my girl, Alex Steele, who's now on Bloomberg. She was with the morning call with me. That was nuts. Anyway, pretty tight. You would think, you know, why can't it get back towards the highs here? You know, there's a void here. If the metal move wants to continue, that's the monthly. You go to the weekly chart of silver. And it looks really tight. Like silver is not even at 23. Silver is not even where it was in November 27th. Look where gold was on November 27th. You know, where's November? Did I just say November? This is November. Here's November. This somewhere. So I'm just saying, like, actually, let's go, but let's do this one more time. So gold on March 7th was 193. Where was silver on in March? April, May. What the hell's the matter with me? January. Oh, this is the weekly. Let's go to the daily. I'm sorry. Here. Oh, this is the November. This is December. So in December, when gold was at 193, that's where silver. So silver was like actually outperforming it. All right. This is December 1st. GLD. December 1st was right here. So silver was even a little higher according to the chart, and now this obviously just hit 198. So gold probably needs to do, you know, we talked about Doji style, the Hunt brothers. Yeah, that's who it was. And probably needs to hang here a little bit, go sideways. And then who knows, maybe if it digests here and then we get a jobs report that's a little lighter, so the Fed could actually maybe start cutting rates in June, it helps gold make another move. So what guys like to do is they like to roll up options. So if you bought like the 194s and now it's a 198, and there's, you know, $5-6 in premium, you sell those, you roll out of it and buy the 200s, which costs you like $1.50 again. So you're risking less, booking a trade and staying with the trend. That's what people say. People like, Red Dog, what does it mean? You're rolling up your options. You're rolling them up and put them in your pocket or smoking something. I'm like, no, I don't smoke anything, but I'm rolling them up, meaning there's a lot of premium there. If something goes wrong, I don't want to lose that, and I want to roll it into another strike. So you can do that with anything. I did that with Nvidia call spreads too. But anyway, a little bit of rest here, and it could probably go sideways and go. Yeah, I remember that. What thoughts on the energy sector? It's slow. Like this is the XLE. This is not a lot of fun. You know, some guys, like I said, are still long verse. Like every time I do it verse. Like people were long the XLE verse 82, and then you had to move through 85. Went to 87.50. Now I'm like, you know what? You could be long verse. You do not add to energy stocks. You'll not have great prices. Same way you can't really add to banks. You know, every time you tried to buy Goldman Sachs at 195, 196, you lost money. Energy sector could probably go a little bit higher. You know, this too has been, look at this 2-year channel for the XLE. So, you know, this has been a long time. This is 2022 going sideways. You know, potentially you could see a move to the top end of the channel. I remember when IWM was doing this, but anyway, I'm just saying, yeah, energy names are fine. Amazon is going to probably need a little bit of time to rebuild after yesterday. You know, Amazon tried to break above 180 on Monday, but you had Google making lows, Apple pulling things down. Yeah, there wasn't enough participation for people to be comfortable there. So now it has to rebuild again. Any opinion on Intel? Not really. I haven't traded Intel since 1995, even though it's been acting a little bit better. It's just sloppy, and there's really no reason to be trading Intel when you could trade Nvidia. Sorry, you know, that's like a Kramer thing. Nvidia. Anyway, by the way, if you Google Scott Redler and Jim Cramer, I used to do off the charts with him. You know, he used to do all my work for a while. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Off the charts, I've done a lot of big calls with him, And then people are like, why don't you work with Kramer anymore? I'm like, because I got into a fight with his friend Doug Cass when he said, you know, Apple was rotten to a core in like 2011. And I was like, really? Anyway, yeah, China's up a bit. JD's up. IBM made me really good money. IBM is, you know, it's not your grandfather's IBM right now. IBM gave you a setup here. IBM gave you a big gap up after earnings, gave you the Trader Stewie pro earnings gap, and then gave you a move through when I was buying options in here, okay, a decent amount of them, and then look at that day. So if this market wants a leader, this is still moving higher, just a matter of there's not a lot of things out there. So do I still have IBM? I do. I have like a third left. I bought a lot of IBM here. That was great. Morgan Stanley also bought a lot of Morgan Stanley in the base. And then yesterday things got a little loose and wide, so it probably needs a day to kind of rebuild in here before maybe making its way up towards 94. So anyway, with that being said, oh, and lastly, ON. People are like, Red Dog, why'd you get out of the stock? I'm like, because, you know, I use the moving average rules, right? Here's where I went very, very long ON. That's on class. That's these things. That's these sneakers. I have a bunch. I see them everywhere. So I bought the $30 calls here, and I also bought the stock there. Going into the first move to 32, which was fast and furious. I made $1.50 to $4 in the calls, took them off, sold a lot of stock, and then in here, you know, I bought the $33 calls, and then I sold my stock into there. Then it broke the 8-day, and I'm like, you know what? Earnings are until March 12th. I don't hold stock into earnings ever, no matter what the company. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to accumulate some of the $33 calls, maybe even the $35 calls, so that there's less premium, less to lose. So if the earnings do come out and they do deliver, we'll make money again. But we've made a lot of money in that trade already. And technically, again, when things break the 8-day, you know, is above it the whole time, that's when I say, hey, I don't sit in that thing. It's not acting special. I could be in some options and wait. So that's that. All right, guys, listen, I got to jump. You want the Meta chart real quick? Meta kind of held the 8-day. Meta's still one of the stronger MAG names. There's no more 7 of them, so you can't even say MAG 7. At this point, if you look here, I am not in Meta right now, but you could say, hey, this could be your out. This could be the stop. It did hold the 8-day. It's been holding the 8-day. Okay, this low here is what, 487. So there's a chance that this holds and continues if the market wants to hold and continue. All right, now I got to go. It's 8:55. I'm only supposed to do 20 minutes, not 25. I appreciate you. Good luck today. I'm going to be on Fox Business with Liz today at 3:55, doing the close with her if you want to tune in. So that means I have to head to the city around 2:15. Hopefully after the beige book, jump in the car that they send for me and go. And I'll be in my nice little suit and tie, and I won't be trading in the sauna later. Later, guys.